Hello, I'm Lewis, and this is the Musical Lewis, a channel dedicated to all good music based on my good music tastes. And today I've got a bit of a haul for you today. I went to my local HMV in Derby today, and I've got a DVD and some CDs I want to show you. Um, and also I've got a bit of a nitpick with HMV, which I'm going to come to when I show you all my what I bought today. Um, and it's a little nitpick I have kind of just recently. And it's something that's really shocked me, really. Um, but anyway, let's get on with the haul. I've got the DVD over here. I actually clicked and collect this, but I actually picked this up today. We're going to start with the DVD first, and this is the Elvis Presley in concert film. This is the live Elvis Presley in concert DVD, which only just came out last week, and I actually really like this show. I haven't watched it DVD. I have seen the film in the cinema, and it's a really good concert film actually. I'm not going to review it, but obviously it is music related, and I'm a bit of an Elvis Presley fan, and the concerts are mainly close to the Las Vegas shows, but also there's a few other shows that they do bring onto here, and I've got this CD to show you, which I haven't bought today, but I bought it some time ago. We have the Elvis Elvis in person at the International Hotel Las Vegas, and this is kind of a tie-in to this because some of the shows from Las Vegas came from this and a few other Las Vegas shows that he did between 1969 to the early 70s into the mid 70s. Um, and the film is actually really good, actually. I do recommend watching it. There's a few bits and pieces where it hasn't aged well, but it's still really, really good film, actually. It's still a really, really good film to watch. If you haven't seen an Elvis Presley show before and you want to listen, because I have watched a few Elvis Presley concerts in my time, but this is definitely the most superior of all the concerts. So it does show the shows, but it also shows some radio programs. So it's a really good show to watch, actually. Now to move on to the CDs that I brought today, I'm going to show you the Tame Impalas that I picked up. I do have Deadbeat up there, which I bought a while back. We have Currents, In a Speaker, Lonerism, and The Slow Rush. So I got all of their albums. I've got all of the albums from Tame Impala, including with Deadbeat as well. So I've got all five of them here now. I'm going to listen to them properly at some point. I got into I have heard of Tame Impala before, but I never really got to listen to it properly. So I picked up the albums. Some of these albums are quite cheap, actually. And that's going to be. I'm going to give that as an example of the nitpick I'm going to show. I'm going to talk about later on. Um, and then we picked up an album which is by an artist that's a little bit of an independent artist, actually. We have Fine Joy that woman with Fine Joy, as it says on the side here. I'm not quite sure what this album is about. It's kind of a blind buy for me. Normally, I do sometimes pick up artists that I'm not familiar with just to have a look at them. And I think that's kind of a thing for me. I did the same with Blues Pills last year, and I think this is her debut, I believe. It says on the back here that the album is copyrighted by Josephine van der Vest, which I think is the vocalist to this. I haven't heard of this artist before, so I don't know what it sounds like. I have played a couple of tracks on my CD player earlier on up there, but but I haven't really listened to it properly, so I'm gonna give this a listen sometime. And now we've got on to an album that I have been looking forward to. We have Niall Horan with Dinner Party. As you can see, I've got the alternate artwork version from HMV. I have seen the proper album as well, but I went for the alternate artwork version because of the bonus track Mia at the bottom. So I've got the deluxe version basically. Well, it is a deluxe version, but it's only just got one extra track, so it's not really a deluxe version, really. Um, I did have a quick look at both versions on the track listings, and the track listing is right on this one. But if you pick up the CD version of the original album, you can see on the back there's a bit of a misprint, where I think it's between Little More Time and Flowers. The tracks are 6, 7 is missed out, and then to 8, and then it just goes straight down to 13 as a printing error. So if you do have this album, do look at the back of it because there is a printing error. But the tracks are more or less the same. So if you want to listen to this album, I do recommend it. I haven't listened to this album in full, but I did have a quick play with it just to hear what the songs were about. So that's the reason why I picked this up. I do like Niall Horan. I'm not a One Direction fan, but Niall Horan's solo music stood out to me. I do have all his albums at this point, and this is his 4th studio album. So I do have The Show, I do have Heartbreak Weather, and I do have Flicker. I haven't listened to this one yet, but I think this is going to be a really good one from what I've heard so far with what I've played for a few seconds of each song. So I'm hoping it's going to be a good album, this one. And this might come as a shock to you, for those who have heard of this artist. And I never really listened to her before, but I have been quite interested in listening to her properly up to this point, and it's probably my new pick on this list. Just like Tame Impala, we have the Olivia Rodrigo. Sorry, the Olivia Rodrigo albums here. I haven't got the Live at Glastonbury album, but I do have the studio albums. We have Sour, Guts, and her newest one. I have to open her up because the title's on the CD. You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love. And I've got like with Niall Horan, I've got the alternate artwork version again. I actually prefer this artwork than the actual album cover. And I did hear a couple of the songs. I think it was Drop Dead, which I first heard, and to be honest, that actually was really, really good, actually. So it got me the interest to buy all the other two. And I think I was never a fan of Olivia Rodrigo before, but I'm surprised, really, that I never really listened to her before. And to be honest, I decided to give her a listen with the 2 albums as well as the new ones. So, and I've heard rumours that the new one is actually much better than what she has done with the previous 2, or so I heard. So I'm gonna give these a listen this weekend when I'm not at work and see if I like her actually a lot. And to be honest, I think I'm surprised that I never listened to her before. So I'm gonna give her a go and see what I think of her. I'm actually looking forward to listening to her, to be honest, because it did take me a while to get into Sabrina Carpenter. So I'm interested to listening to her. And this last album was also a bit of a blind buy, and I actually saw her name pop up a couple of times on my Facebook, in the Facebook Reels section. And we have Dasher with What Happens Now. There's actually 8 tracks on here, and I'm not sure if it's an album or an EP, but I'm not exactly sure. I'm thinking of giving this a listen as well. I haven't really thought about listening to her before until I saw this, because I was actually just looking through the CDs. I wasn't thinking of picking any of these up until I actually saw this, and then this as well. I mean, these are only like blind buys, really, these two. I think they could be interesting to listen to, even though I'm not too sure about them. But I'm gonna listen to them and see what I think. But Tame Impala, Olivia Rodrigo, and Niall Horan were the only ones that well, Niall Horan was one I wanted anyway, and the Olivia Rodrigo ones too, because I'm familiar with them. So, and also Tame Impala, which now I'm going to move on to the next part of the video where I do have a nitpick with HMV for this. And normally, I don't usually have a nitpick because sometimes I'm usually a person to buy albums and CDs at a certain price. I mean, I know some of the new ones can be up to about 11, 12, 13 quid, 14 quid at the most, which I do believe is kind of a nice range. But this is a nitpick that I have seen recently, and I didn't know anything about it till this last week. And I kind of want to crack down on this a little bit because it was originally. Now, this is their new offer that they've got on CDs now, and most of it's new CDs, but there are some older ones thrown in there as well. And that is the new 2 for £22 offer for CDs. Now this is where I'm going to be quite nitpicky with this video because personally, two CDs for £22, that's just ridiculous in my opinion. Because I mean, vinyl for most of these records in here and some of my records in the cupboard under the stairs, most of the records I have in here, apart from the odd few, some of the records in here came from the HMV 3 for £66 offer, which I was surprised that, to be honest, 3 for 66 quid for 3 records isn't terrible, in my opinion. But I'm just going to get one of these records out a minute. I'm going to get this. I'm probably going to show you Sway Dogman Star here. Now, this album, I bought this in February this year. This is their second album, by the way. And I'm gonna show you a couple of other Suede albums on CD, which are in the same offer, by the way. We have Antidepressants here, and Beautiful One's The Best of Suede, which is also in the same offer. And also with this as well, in the 3 for 66 offer. Basically, it's two of them against this. If you're going in the HMV 3 for 66 offer for this. Individually, this album costs 35 quid. But with the offer, you've got 13 quid knocked off this, which I think is a pretty good deal. However, two of these, I bought these at just before Christmas, 2 for 16 quid, and they've gone up 6 quid in the past, and they've gone up to 16 quid. They've gone up to 6 quid in the past few months. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I know personally HMV. Fair enough. HMV is, one of those. I do understand why people don't like going to HMV because of their prices and stuff like that. Personally, I just don't, because every time I go into HMV and always looking for bargains. I've got 3 Tame Impala albums here. I can't remember which ones they are now, but most of these go between 7 to 6 quid. This was 6 quid. I think this was 8 quid. and I think two of these were £7. So basically, I got these 3 albums, for example, equivalent to what 2 of these would have been. It's just ridiculous. And personally, even if you're not, and also, and I know this is probably a bit more of a nitpick, but I have picked up this one. Well, no. Let me think now. But also this, not Lumism, in a speaker, and this also would have been £22 between the 3 of them. I mean, to be honest, it's just ridiculous. I mean, if it was 3 CDs for £22, then it wouldn't have been much of a problem, because I personally think that 2 CDs for £22 is just ridiculous. And it's also the same with the Metallicas and also a few of the other CDs that are being added to it. Some of them had not even been released a few months, because the new Megadeth is in there. The new, I'm not sure what else is in there, but the new Megadeth is in there. Then some of the new, I think Hilary Duff is in there, and several others. And to be honest, I think it's just ridiculous. I mean, even Tame Impala's Deadbeat and some of the other that were in the 2 for £16 offer, that mostly albums from last year, are all in there, and it blows my mind, because the last month when I picked this up and a few others, these last couple of months, these were 2 for £16. And now they've gone up £6 in the past few weeks, and I think it's just ridiculous. And if it were free for £22, then I wouldn't have much of a problem with it. And to be honest, I'm sorry, but if anyone is going to be watching this video and think that I'm moaning because of having 2 CDs for £22, I think it was the norm back in the 90s when when Virgin Megastores was a thing. But to be honest, I think personally, now that loads of new records are being released and new albums, and obviously, I'm surprised that HMV, the vinyl were 3 for £66. That's not bad every now and again. But for 2 CDs for £22, it's just ridiculous. And, to be honest, you get these 2 for £26 each, for £26 easily, because these are only just come out. But personally, if you're not losing that much money if this gets put into the 2 for £22 offer, say within the next month or so, because you're not losing that much money from it, and it'll be the same with this one too. So basically, it's just ridiculous. And also, all the old Metallica first 4 albums from Metallica are in that list, and also there's some other albums from some of the other artists that I quite like to have. But if they're just going to keep adding them to that list, you're not going to get much money out of it, because basically they're just still selling them more or less at full whack anyway. So what's the point? 2 for 16, or even 2 for 18 for that matter, actually, would have been much better. Or even before, back in the late 2000s, early 2010s, when HMV used to have the 2 for CDs for £10. That was the norm back then, until COVID took over and made everything go up. But I think it's just ridiculous, 2 for £22. I mean, it's like going back to the days of Virgin Megastores where they used to sell 2 CDs for 25 quid at one point, or you know, back then in the late 90s, early 2000s. But then again, let me know what you think. Two for £22 for 2 CDs. Is it ridiculous or is it good? I mean, to be honest, I think it's ridiculous. And if, as I said, if it were 3 CDs for 22 quid, it wouldn't have been a problem. But two, nah, not for me. But to be honest, you're not, as I said, you're not going to get that much money out of it really, because these two Oliver Rodrigo albums, they have been slightly reduced, almost 3 or 4 quid off their original price, which I think is really good. But give it a couple of months, and these two will be added for the 2 for 22 quid offer. So you're not going to be losing much money if you get them now. So anyway, let me know in the comments below if you think that the 2 for £22 at HMV is ridiculous, or is it really good. And I hope you enjoyed my little haul as well. I actually enjoyed sharing my hauls with you, actually. I know it's baking hot in the UK at the minute, and I'm absolutely sweating right now. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like. Please leave a like and subscribe. I'll be more than grateful. And any more will be coming eventually. And also this weekend will be a review of Elizabeth Bonagira's America's Back Roads. So that'll be coming this weekend. And also I might do a review of Olivia Rodrigo next week. So I'll see you again pretty soon. Goodbye for now.